look who it is. Look who it is. Look at the cat drug in. Yes, that is Barrett Brooks. He's back. What's up, Big B? How we doing?
I'm back.
Good to see you.
It's a good thing you showed up, Brooks. Because Rob was tired of talking to me.
Oh, okay. I thought Rob was going off the rails.
No, he was.
That's a given.
He got tired of talking to me. He goes, "Please get Barrett on him. I'm sick of this dude."
I did. I put the bat signal out, and he answered, man. Yeah, I even forgot to do a hump day right off the top. You threw me off not having you. There it is. Thank you. Good to see you, my friend. We all good? You ready to rock and roll?
Let's rock, man.
Let's talk Eagles, man. Right in your wheelhouse. So I want to bring this back up again. All right. So we talked about Budda Baker a little bit the last couple of days. He wants out. He's made it clear he wants out. So he's got 2 years left on his deal, guys. And the cap hit numbers are pretty daunting. It feels to me like this would have to be some kind of, restructure where you go like signing bonus with him or whatever, because I don't think the Eagles are going to pay that kind of money. Just my guess for that position. But his cap hits are 16.8 this year, 17.9 next year for the safety position. That is the troubling part. Here's the good part. It looks like you're going to be able to get him for, a 2 or a 3. It's definitely not going to take your 10 or your 30 from what we're hearing. So what do you guys think?
Well, we lose.
I'd give up a 2 for him. I'd give him a 2. I'd give up a 2.
If I'm not mistaken.
What's that, Barrett?
Would you do a 2? Would you do a 2 for him, B?
I would do a 2 for him. We're talking a game changer. We thought we had some success with
Barrett, hang on, man. Tone, let's pull Barrett down for a minute. Let's get him straightened out. Barrett, if you can hear me, we're having a little technical issue with you. So why don't you just try and get up and running? But Derek, I'll pose that to you first while we get Barrett straightened out technically. You giving up your second in this scenario?
For a player like that, I would. He's a risk taker. You can move him around. He's kind of like a Malcolm Jenkins, like a faster version of Malcolm Jenkins. You can move him down in the box. You can move him out. You can move him in many different places. You can blitz him. It's not a player you're drafting wondering if he can make the transition. He's already an accomplished player. His ticket price is a little bit high. Would Howie consider restructuring it to make it more cap friendly? I wouldn't put that past Howie one bit. But he would make that back end of that defense that much more complete. You have Edmonds on one side, him on the other, and the 2 corners you have there in Slay and Bradbury. That's not a bad secondary, dude, when you think about it. And knowing Howie, I guarantee you he's already looked into it and seeing how the numbers fit, especially when you consider how they've structured Jalen Hurts' contract. They have like $18.5 million in cap space right now. He probably went higher since they restructured Mailata. He's definitely a player Howie would seriously consider bringing it in. So if it happens, I would not be surprised one bit.
Yeah, I think that we got Barrett back. Cool. Barrett, so I'll throw it at you. I pose the question, would you give up your 2? Do you think that what he's making is a little too rich for their blood? Where do you fall on the Budda Baker thing?
You know what? We've had the most success when we've had a good safety behind us on our defense. Meaning, look what we had with Malcolm Jenkins, CJGJ.
Yeah,
it seems that's a direction that a defense can rely on when you don't have necessarily great linebacker play. At least 2 points in the middle of your defense is short up. The defensive line will be short up, and the tail end will be short up with safeties. You know what I'm saying? And if you have those 2 positions, then you can go out there and be cheap at linebacker. But you can't be cheap at 2 positions in the middle of your defense. You can be the cheap at safety and pay a linebacker, or pay a linebacker. Or pay a safety and be cheap at linebacker. You can't have both. And we've had some success when we've had a really good secondary as far as the safety position. What does Budda Baker bring to our defense? What he lacks in coverage skills, he makes up for in knowledge of the game, understanding where he belongs in the defense. And the biggest thing is just his playmaking ability. He doesn't get a lot of interception, but he makes a lot of plays in the run game. blitzing him, doing the intangibles, raising a ruckus in the defense, which leads to turnovers everywhere else. So Budda Baker understands what he is as a player. They can work within that, and he could be great for this defense. Are they going to be elite with him? I don't think they'll be elite, but they'll be really, really good with him. Really good with him.
Yeah. I mean, look, I look at what they have right now. I think it's a little risky to go into the season with that right now. You feel like, Terrell Edmonds is solid. He's fine. And Reed, we're just not sure. It doesn't mean they can't be good, but there's, it's a little questionable right now. That's for sure. And you talk about adding a guy who's a real impact. That's an impact player on that side of the ball.
Well, they'll have to restructure him just like they restructured Mailata. They'll have to restructure his deal. They'll give him more up front so they can have him in a position where he's able to go out there and be aggressive, and giving him a sign-up bonus to make his deal more under the cap and cap friendly.
Yeah, makes sense. And we'll see. And they're obviously a team that I don't think wants to pay that much, but we'll see if they are willing to kind of work. He'd be willing to work with them because he was on with Kay Adams. She has the Up and Adams podcast, and Budda was talking about the kind of coaches he would like to play for, and he cited Nick Sirianni. This was like around the Super Bowl time. So this is a while ago. Yeah. And he cited Sirianni. So, and he's been very open about praising Jalen Hurts. So, we'll see. I mean, maybe he's laying the groundwork here. Maybe he knows something we haven't heard. So they restructured Jordan Mailata, guys, and there's not really much of an impact on this season. But if you look at 24 and 25 seasons, he's only going to cost 7.6 and 7.7, right?
That's crazy.
Nothing.
How does he do this, man? How does he keep doing this stuff, dude?
I don't know.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing that he's able to. I mean, you look at Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is costing this team $20 million, $30 million. Come on, man. You're getting a player that's not going to make you, at the most, he's going to have you average quarterback play. Not dynamic play, average quarterback play. Mm-hmm. You look at what Jalen Hurts brings. He brings dynamic play to the offense, and yet his cap number is half of what Daniel Jones's cap number is. I mean, their GM should be ashamed of himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ashamed of himself that he couldn't work that deal underneath the cap better. You might have been able to pay Saquon and him if he was able to work the magic that that Howie's done.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's ridiculous, and I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he applies. How he applies. I think he believes more in the upfront money, giving guys, knowing that they're going to prepare, knowing they're going to be able to play at a high level, knowing that these guys are all-star type of players. He doesn't mind giving them money up front.
You know what that also is a tribute to? It's a tribute to Jeffrey Lurie, because you have to put that money in escrow and be willing to pay it out like that, where you're not on any kind of payment plan. It's just like, boom, here's 110 at signing. So, you got to work simpatico with your owner, and your owner's got to be willing to.
Did you hear what you just said? When you sign your contract as an NFL player, when you sign your contract, you get the money that you signed for 10 days later. If the NFL makes it mandated that you have to pay that player the sign-up bonus he gets after he signs the contract 10 days later. Mm-hmm. So a couple days from now, Jalen Hurts is going to have $110 million in his bank account.
Oh, God bless him. God bless him. I know.
That's a lot of money to help the D-Gun move to California Foundation.
That's right. We didn't get your reaction, Barrett. So the cap numbers that came out yesterday, Jalen's going to cost them 6.51 or 6.15, excuse me, in 23, 13.56 in 24, 21.77 in 25, and 31.77 with this monster contract where he's making basically 50-ish per year. It's just pure wizardry, man. Like Howie's out there with a wand in a hat, just performing.
How do you do it? How does he do that, man? I mean, because it's crazy that he has cap room, and it's our fault. I know what we were thinking. How are they going to be able to pay Jalen and sign everybody to this team? We were thinking, when the season was over with, they'll be able to get this team in a position where they can compete because they got to pay their quarterback. But yet for the next 2 years, he'll be able to bring in free agents and compete at a high level because he's manipulated these caps well enough that he can have these guys under contract. Like he really could bring in a Budda Baker and pay his rookies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He could actually do that.
No, Brooks, for the next 4 years, the next 4 years, he'll be able to have a lot of cap room, the way he structured this thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he signed, look who all he signed to deals. Bradbury, Slay, Lane, Malata, Kelsey,
Edmonds.
I mean, Penny. I mean, we're talking about just those guys alone are going to help the team play at a high level. And Jalen, come on, man. How is this happening? I don't know.
Yeah, look, it feels like he just runs circles around other GMs, as far as the capology part of it goes. There isn't anybody else doing it at this level. And
except Veach.
Yeah, Veach, true. Yeah, and by the way, they both come from the same tree.
Yep.
Yes.
It's not a coincidence. They learned at the foot of the Joe Banner master of how to manipulate a cap. That's for sure. So let's go ahead, Beck. Yeah,
that's ridiculous that Joe Banner, talked to this dude and didn't he really want to hire this guy. I mean,
that story is nuts. He was writing letters to the Eagles and the Jets daily, every team. Yep. And finally, Mike Tannenbaum reached out to he and Howie were talking, or he and Joe Banner were talking, and Mike Tannenbaum's like, "You getting letters from this same guy? I get a letter every day from this guy. It's crazy." and Banner was like, "Yeah, I get him too. I just don't have anything right now. He seems really persistent." So then Tannenbaum brings him in for an interview, liked him, but he didn't have an opening right then. Banner talks to him too, eventually breaks down and finally talks to him face to face, loves him. Same situation. He's like, "I just don't have anything this second." Somebody left the Eagles front office and opened a door for Howie, and that's how he got in. He was a law school grad. He went to Fordham undergrad, and he got his law degree from Florida. No, he went to Florida undergrad and got his law degree from Fordham. Okay, obviously very bright guy. But that's how it all started. He just literally was writing handwritten letters every day to every NFL
Fletcher
team.
Cox also.
Yeah,
he signed Fletcher Cox.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, BG. The list goes on how he's able to do it. I mean, guys should be taking notes. He should have a class in which he teaches these GMs how to manipulate the cap like he does, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he must sit up late at night finding ways to figure out how to manipulate the cap, put himself in a position that is, that the Eagles will be able to, to sign players like that. Because at this point, most teams are looking to the draft from this point on. But did they sign that quarterback? The draft is how you replenish the ranks on other teams. Howie is able to manipulate the cap so well that he can still go out and get high-priced free agents and put them underneath that cap, man. That's crazy they can do that. But they are going to have to start making these drafts. They have a luxury right now that guys can sit behind really good players and learn from them. N'Kobe Dean sat back and learned. Jordan Davis sat back and learned. Jordan Mailata for 2 years sat back and learned from the best tackle in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to learn from guys. At this point, look how much teaching that Cam Jurgens is getting right now from the best center in football. That they don't have to play these guys right now. Even Avonte Maddox was able to sit back and learn from guys. I don't know, some of the guys they didn't want to learn from, but they have that luxury that their guys are starting to learn from each other, and all the stuff that we praise Jason Kelsey for, Cam Jurgens is going to do, and he's going to see it. He saw it firsthand, so it's going to be easy for him to manipulate and add it to his game because he's learning from the best center in the league.
Yeah,
that's how Lane became as good as he got. Jordan Mailata became as good as he got. Landon Dickerson learned from guys that were amazing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's crazy how good these guys are going to be.
Well, Lane has told us time and time again how much he leaned on Jason Peters to learn the little tricks of getting advantage of these various edge rushers that he would face week in and week out. I mean, you look at a lot of these offensive linemen who have come through here, and Jason Peters was a wealth of information for these guys and giving them firsthand tutelage on practice fields, especially in training camps, in terms of how to get an advantage. You know, Jason Peters was the best of the best for a long time, and he passed that lineage down to the likes of Lane Johnson, who's now doing it for other young players, man. That's one thing about this Eagles team. When they get the right players, man, it's almost like a relay race. They don't just keep this information. They're not running the race by themselves. They're secure in their own self, to where they go out of their way to share information because they want the product to be that much better. Absolutely. It's never about them. It's always about the collective group, and that's a rarity.
Oh yeah,
that's a rare trait.
No question. There is no question about that. All right, let me hit you guys with a couple other things. So Paris Johnson, the Paris Johnson talk is heating up at 10. We've talked about Skoronski a good amount. I know both of you guys have mentioned Paris Johnson, but just to sort of circle back, where are you? Where are you in terms of how much you like this guy? And do you think that would be a warranted pick at 10, the big tackle out of Ohio State?
Paris Johnson is the number one offensive lineman for Reed. I know everybody's talking about Pete Skoronski. Everybody loves him. I know Ray is bullish on him, but I just see more of an upswing, more of an upside to Paris Johnson Jr. and his ability to be a guy to come in and plug and play now. He's played guard before. He's played tackle before. He can be that swing tackle if you need him. I think he's a better athlete. I think he has great fundamentals. He's fundamentally sound. It's just, Paris Johnson is more of an athlete than Peter Skoronski. Skoronski's is a hard-nosed player. He's going to meet you. He's instead of you waiting for a guy, you waiting for a fight. Peter Skoronski, he's going to find the fight, and that's the difference in attitudes with him. He's going to go find a fight, pick a fight, and Paris Johnson's going to finish a fight. And that's how I compare the two of them together. Okay. One guy's going to go pick a fight and start a fight. One guy's going to finish the fight. And athletically, Johnson holds a better upside as far as being a tackle. Skoronski has more of an upside of being a guard. Like I put myself in this discussion and saying, all right, if I'd have left Kansas State and came to the Eagles at the position they drafted me for, and that's really to play guard, and because of Bernard Williams couldn't stay off the weed, he couldn't stop smoking weed, I had to play tackle. If I'd have came in as guard, I'd have been a much better guard. In fact, I would venture to say I've been a Pro Bowl guard in all actuality. I would have been a better guard than I was a tackle. I was a solid tackle, but I'd have been a better guard because when I played guard later in my career, it was easier. I felt more comfortable there. I flourished there. In fact, it stretched my career 3 or 4 more years because I moved to guard and played guard better. Mm-hmm. The same thing goes with Peter Skoronski. If he goes in a tackle, he'll be a solid tackle. He could play there and lock it down for years. If he goes to guard, he will be a Pro Bowl-esque type of guard. I mean, I'm talking about might have been from day one. That the offensive line will instantly become better with him. You put Paris Johnson in there, he will be a good guard, but he'd be a better tackle. He'd be a Pro Bowl tackle, but he could play guard and play very effectively because he's played the position before.
Interesting.
A lot of people would look at taking whether it's Skoronski or Paris. Oh, it's a luxury pick. No, it's not, because you look at how many times they've lost offensive linemen throughout a season. You need to have a plug-and-play guy in there. People irate when they took Landon Dickerson coming off that knee injury. But once they deemed him medically sound, look at what he did when he hit the ground running. He had time to get ready. He learned from some of the best of the best, and he hit the ground running. He was not a liability when they put him on that left side. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Paris Johnson. Here's a dude that can come in and play right away. Obviously, he's going to take some grooming, but you put in between Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson, you know how much pressure that takes off of him? Because even if he makes a mistake, you have those two guys to pick up the slack for you. Yeah,
you're not on an island. Yeah.
No, you're not on an island by yourself.
Right.
And if he's considered the best of the best, the possibility of him making a transition sooner rather than later is enhanced.
Yeah.
So, that's why, he's not the sexy, he's not the glamorous pick, he's not the sexy pick, but he is a pick of need the way this team likes to build their team from the inside out.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, let me throw this at you, non-Eagles. We'll get it back to the Birds. But Tua is speaking into the Miami media. He said he discussed the idea of retiring from football after the season with his family, decided to keep playing, says this is his health and his life. He thinks it's what's best for him and for his family. When asked about the replays of the concussions that he suffered, he said, quote, "It wasn't tough to watch," unquote. Replays of the injuries last season. He wants to get better, was willing to relive the scenario with his jiu-jitsu coach. He's taking jiu-jitsu coach in order to learn from it. So just giving you information, man. I don't know.
Was he going to savate kick somebody?
I don't know.
What the hell is it being a ninja going to help him from getting his ass kicked?
I'm serious. I don't know. Like, does it maybe help you land differently?
I guess you're going to stop, drop, and roll better, man. You know what? I don't know. Let me stop laughing, man, because, I mean, last time I heard that, you know what I'm saying, comes from that linebacker Wilson, Eric Wilson from Minnesota. He came in talking about he became a vegan. He stopped eating meat. He went and started taking ninjutsu or taekwondo or, Miyagi, wax on, wax off. Took that, got out on the field, started getting his ass kicked. So I'm like, what is that doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying no. It's has nothing to do with that to me. I mean, you can use that to make you a better athlete, make you more elusive, keep you from taking those hits. You know what I'm saying? Get you tighten your footwork up and everything.
Right.
But you can't change a 300-pound man slamming you to the ground and falling on top of you.
No.
There's nothing you can do in jiu-jitsu or taekwondo or yoga or stretching or anything you can do about that. It's just the nature of the game.
Yep. Maybe
you can try to fall better, but when you have, the dynamics of playing in the NFL are a lot different than doing those things. Like I did take martial arts up when I was playing, and it helped me in positioning better, fighting, and learning where my pressure points are as far as, give and take. I can give a little bit here and I can gain an advantage there. That all helped. Yes, that does help. But at the end of the day, you're doing something the body was not supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're playing a sport, a gladiator sport, that the body just can't. It's not meant to do that. The human body is barely meant to walk upright, let alone run and have guys trying to take your head off. It's just the nature of it being a very physical sport that you're trying to that you're trying to play as long as you can play.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me throw this one out. Go ahead, Derek. You want to chime in on that?
Yeah. You look at the way Tua got hurt. They were both fluke concussions. It wasn't like he got jacked up blindside or anything like that. He was thrown on the ground, hit the back of his head, boom. And, and then they put him back out on the field 4 days later when they should have, and he got slightly hit again. But you could tell that he wasn't quite ready from that initial hit. And all of a sudden he's had 2 concussions in a span of 4 days. Then he gets a third one playing that Green Bay game late in the season. Same thing. He just gets thrown to the ground, hits the back of his head, boom. He's got another concussion. So,
What does that mean, though? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just can't.
You can't avoid stuff like that. Yes.
Yeah. You're right, D-Gun. You're right. I mean, I'm looking at the stream and WCBJJ77. What is BJJ? What is that? Is that like a martial art or something? Because he's right in asking that. It doesn't, to me, it just doesn't have anything to do with with how you fall or
it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, according to Tom.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
He said that one of the things that helps you do is when you fall, it does help you control your body when you fall.
Okay, yes. Now I can't say that. Yep.
I agree with the premise absolutely. That you guys are saying when a 300-pound guy, good luck.
You know what I'm saying? But you can get, like I learned in martial arts, sometimes like you punch the guy and the guy started to get the better of you. You can release somewhere and strengthen somewhere. You can throw your hips back in and you can balance back up and regain the position that you want. You know what I'm saying? That stuff comes with just practice and learning how your body can move. But no matter what Brazilian jiu-jitsu or anything, when you're falling with a 300-pound man on you, man, it's tough. Just
to a hard surface, not a padded surface. A hard surface.
Yeah.
Adam's exploit said we need Barrett to do a martial arts demonstration.
Demo? Yes.
Oh, and they're trying to make fun of me. Ballerina lessons. We did have to take that also in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We had to take.
You took ballet lessons?
Ballet, yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't wear no tutus or nothing. We ain't wear no.
Don't let me find video of you out there somewhere.
You guys would have needed a 3-3 or a 4-4, not a 2-2.
No. We helped it with it helped us stretch and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Put us in awkward positions and stuff. And
right. Flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility.
That makes sense. All right. So a couple other things. So this is going to feed into the running back discussion a little bit. Todd McShay was on Dan Patrick and said what he's hearing and what wouldn't surprise him in the least is Dallas making a move up. So Dallas right now is sitting at 26. He says Jerry and Mike McCarthy are both itching to pair somebody with Tony Pollard. And he's hearing they're going to try and get up and get Bijan. That's what they're hearing.
I told you it's the first.
Here we go.
It's the perfect place for him to go. And what a storyline they could build from that. He ran in Texas. He's staying in Texas.
Well,
and everybody else.
Yep.
It's a natural. I've been saying this for weeks. This is a Jerry Jones type move. I wouldn't doubt it. And if he gets there, Eagles fans are going to be sick if that dude ends up in Dallas. But I think it's a very distinct possibility that somehow, some way, they try to make this move. Dallas is not shy. Dallas is one of the few teams that's not shy about taking a running back high in the first round. They're not.
Well, he'll always be tied to us, man. I mean, there's no way around it now. He'll always be. If we don't pick up Bijan, he'll always be tied to us. You know what I'm saying? It'll be just like, BG and the safety from Texas, It'll always be tied together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like right now, it's just like when we got Jalen Rager, and we had the kid from Minnesota sitting right there.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson. They'll always be tied together. They'll be infamous, as far as those two being tied together. It to me, it doesn't. Him, Bijan being there has nothing to do with anything, but we just don't need a running back at this point. We don't. If it's not the trenches, I just don't see any reason to do that. I just don't see.
Yeah, I'm with you. But that one will be interesting. We touched on this a little bit earlier, Barrett. This is a guy I love at 30 potentially, and maybe, just maybe, you can get down and go high second round. But Brian Branch is visiting the Giants today, but he already visited the Eagles, the safety out of Alabama.
CJGJ, part 2.
There you go. Right.
He's a smaller safety, but he's more of a guy that he played the safety position, so he'll know where his run fits are because he plays the safety position. But you're more apt to put him as that slot cornerbacks type of guy. If you run a lot of dime meaning take out and just play with one linebacker and have the rest being DBs, he'd be a great addition for that. Or when they run that big nickel, he'd be a great addition for that because then you have 3 safeties in the game and only have one linebacker in the game. The rest they have DBs. But I don't know if we could do that and stop the run. And him getting drafted there, that just means you would have Reed Blankenship on the bench, and Kayvon Wallace will be on the bench, and Justin Evans will be on the bench. That'll be the only thing because you couldn't.
I'm okay with that. I mean, you're not going to fight me on that one. Nothing against Reed. I can kind of live with that. You know what I mean? Hey, and if Reed crushes it and proves to you he should be the starter, God bless. Good. Okay.
Oh, I meant to say that as a negative, but you like, okay.
Not sure it's a negative. Just means you have some depth there. That's all.
That's all. Yeah, but I mean, is he worth that 30th pick? I mean, I put it like this: I wouldn't be mad at the 30th pick. I wouldn't be mad at a lot of picks at the 30th pick. I wouldn't be mad to get a linebacker at the 30th pick. I wouldn't be mad to get a running back at the 30th pick.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get Gibbs, running back from Alabama. You get him at the 30th pick. I mean, Bijan is nice, but I think Gibbs is right up there with him as far as, in fact, Gibbs may be a better all-purpose as far as catching the ball in the backfield than even Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's done more of that. He's a smaller guy. He's faster, but Bijan is just the total package. I don't know if you could put Gibbs in a position where, you know, he can be a bell cow back or a back that they run.
Mm-hmm.
You can run Bijan Robinson like you can't run Gibbs like that. I don't think you can run Gibbs and him be a feature back and give him more than 20, 30 carries a game. But I didn't think the same with with Kenneth Gainwell.
Right.
But I see Kenneth Gainwell can be that back for you because he was at the end of the season last year.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, I think I don't think they're done at that position. What does that mean? It could take a lot of different permutations, right? I mean, it could mean Gibbs in the second round, could mean somebody if they get a fourth round pick, it could mean somebody later, it could be making a trade. It could be any of those guys we discussed earlier in the week. If Mixon gets cut, if Cook gets cut, maybe they come in on a 1 year prove yourself deal because they want to go to a team that can win a championship. Let's not lose sight of that too. These guys, like the Budda Bakers of the world, want to come to a team with a winning culture and have a chance to win a ring. They're not old, but they've been in the league for a few years and they know what it's like to not be close. So maybe that's a possibility too. We've seen that before here.
This is a destination spot now. I mean, I keep telling people this is a destination point for free agents because they see how things run. So for Budda to say that he picked Sirianni even before the Super Bowl as a coach that he would like to play for just goes to show how things are being run in the Philadelphia market. It has a lot to do with how they treat their veteran players for the most part. They love to make sure their veteran players are being taken care of. They rest them way more than I've seen other veteran players be rested in other organizations. That was unheard of by most teams to even think about, resting players the way they rest players. You would think it'll make them soft. It doesn't make them soft. It makes them play towards the end of the season.
I think
all their guys were, healthy in the Super Bowl.
I think the Eagles are comfortable with their running back situation right now, but Howie being Howie, if they went after a running back, it's going to be a lower tier veteran. It won't cost them a lot. It'll be on another 1 year deal. Or if they get those middle round draft picks back, they'll look at one in the middle to late rounds. I don't think they're in dire straits. The way they look at their offense, I don't think they're looking at it as dire straits. We need a significant upgrade at the running back position. That's not what they do. Doug Peterson didn't do that. And from what we've seen of Nick Sirianni the last couple of years, Nick Sirianni doesn't do that also. They like to have the interchangeable parts for down and distance, depending on where they are on the field and what they need at that particular time. They're not going to go out and get a Derrick Henry, who's going to run the ball 30, 35 times for you.
Right.
If you're lucky in this offense to get the ball 17 times in your hand, that's a big day for a running back with the Eagles.
Yeah.
So you got 4 running backs already in the fold that can do the job for you. Their emphasis is on line, pass catchers, and shoring up that defense. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, listen, I like it. I think it's a possibility. Third round is not out of the question. I mean, I think it just depends. It really does. It just depends. Right now, we don't know what shape that's going to take. You also have to let the board sort of dictate some of this stuff and see where it's going.
Well, that's the big right there, Rob. That is huge, bro. Let the board dictate where, because if they're going to make a run like we think they're going to make a run with all these quarterbacks, C.J. Strouds, the guys that they're saying, the Bryce Youngs, the Richardsons, all those guys, if they make a run, could be 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round, maybe even 5. The kid from Tennessee, they're saying that he's he'll be ready for camp. You know what I'm saying? He'll be ready for camp. So what if a team, Hooker, what's his name? I think it's Hooker. Is it Hooker?
Hendon Hooker. Yeah, Hendon Hooker. Yep.
The kid. Yeah. Hendon Hooker. Yeah, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
They make a shot on him. I still see a lot of people saying that Jalen Carter will be around that 10th pick. There's no way Jalen Carter is going to be at the 10th pick. I just can't see it. His tape, the tape doesn't lie.
There's too many trouble spots. Yeah, like the problem you're going to have is even if Will Anderson goes at 3 to the Cardinals, Is Jalen Carter really getting past Seattle, Detroit, Vegas at 5, 6,
No.
7?
I do you one better than that. I do you one better than that. Bijan Robinson doesn't make it out of the top 9.
Woo!
He's gone before the Eagles pick.
Woo!
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Damn.
He is gone for the Eagles pick.
Woo!
And guess who? Pete Skoronski, because I think Paris Johnson will be the first offensive lineman taken off the board.
Wait, so you're saying you think that's who the Eagles pick will be, or he'll be gone too?
No, he'll be there for the Eagles to pick.
Skoronski will, okay. But
Yeah.
you don't think Paris Johnson will?
Paris Johnson will be gone.
Okay.
He'll be the number 1 pick. He'll be the number 1 offensive lineman pick. Peter Skoronski will be there at number 10. Bijan Robinson won't make it out of the top, 8, top 9 picks.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh.
Interesting, Barrett, because there are people that actually think he could, I don't think this, but fall to the Cowboys even if they don't move up. But you think he's gone top 10. That's pretty
I'm bullish on it. I'm bullish on it.
All right.
You guys hold me to whatever I say anyways.
Yeah, you're never
Not me. Not me, Barrett.
Yeah,
I'm just a peace-loving man who's just here for the ride. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
our friends in the chat like to remind us of when we
Right.
mess these up. But here's the I'll give you just for kicks here. Carolina, Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis, Seattle, Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and then it's the Eagles at 10. That's your top 10. So you think he's going to go to one of those squads?
Absolutely.
Is Atlanta crazy? I mean, they still have
Atlanta's
Daryl Patterson.
They need it back. They need
Atlanta's
back.
the team that I say they're not going to make it past. Because Atlanta,
I'm looking at the
all they did in the offseason was pick up defensive players.
Defense, yeah.
All they picked up was defensive players. So that's why I'm thinking Atlanta's the a landing spot for him, man. I mean, they got a quarterback in Reddick or whatever his name is.
Desmond Ritter. Here's the problem, though, and I forgot about this guy. They drafted Tyler Algier last year. He got 1,000 yards for them.
Yeah, and that's why he'll be perfect in that system. 2 backs, man. And Algier, he went to BYU, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Okay.
Jeez.
Whoa. All right. That was interesting. I didn't see that one coming.
You got the chat buzzing about that comment. B. Brooks, Bijan in the top 9. Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Bijan.
Well, if that's the case, all if he goes that high, well, then people will be screaming the Eagles should have moved up to get him. But anyway, if he goes that high, it's gonna be fascinating.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or it's gonna be a team trying to trade up to get him. Or it's a team trying to trade up to get him.
That's where Dallas starts getting itchy.
Yes, absolutely. Even Houston with their second pick,
right,
trying to get up there and get a guy like him, even though they got a pretty good running back, man. They need something like that.
The kid Pierce, yeah. All right,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Or maybe New England.
Yeah, that sounds. New England absolutely could be a possibility for sure. They need to get that playmakers in there for, with Mac Jones. All right, this is interesting. All right, let's continue with the football. We'll mix in some Phillies as well. We got our NFL segment. In our NFL segment, Barrett, we're going to look at our top 5 quarterback prospects, speaking of, and how we think they're going to do in the pros. In other words, so we're going to look at it and say, all right, this guy's going to have the best career, followed by this guy. So we'll do that when we get back as well. So we'll lot to dig into, including the Niners fielding trade calls on Trey Lance. So we'll talk about that also. Don't go anywhere. That's Barrett. That's Derek. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. We'll tell you right now about Pro Action Restoration. Pro Action Restoration is the place that you call if a home, a business, or a property that you may own goes through the inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, mold damage. That can be really, really trying. I've been through it. It happened to me at my parents' house, happened on a Saturday. The beauty is Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. So I called them on a Saturday. They got right out and they fixed the problem. It was a great situation. They are licensed, bonded, and fully insured. Pro Action Restoration has been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades, and they will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So again, it could be water, fire, smoke, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's